It's time to embrace it. The Community Podcast, exploring the intricacies of personal growth, mental health, and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Topics tailored for a global audience. Now, let's talk about it with your host, Bracy Goodwin.
Well, let me say good evening to everybody. Everybody, thank you so much for joining in tonight. Thank you all for coming on again to the Embrace It Community Podcast. So I want to thank everyone for taking their time out this evening and coming on and talking about something tonight that's really going to be kind of sensitive. So that's why we had the posting up in the beginning, just mindful of what the topic is tonight and how we're going to dive into subjects that could be sensitive. So thank you so much. But first, I always like to start my show off in talking about something that's dear to my heart: suicide prevention. I am an advocate for that. And the 988 Suicide Prevention Crisis hotline here is 988 24/7, 365 days out of this year. You can call and talk to somebody. It's in English and it is in Spanish. So if you know somebody that might be dealing with some things and don't know who to talk to or how to talk about this thing, give them this message, please, because everybody's life matters to me. And this is why I became this advocate for it. So do me a favor, share that number, write it down, make sure you do your share with somebody. How about just text it to somebody? You never know. You just never know if you decide to put it in a text and say, hey, share this when you get a chance. And they'll look at it and say, whoa, how did she know? Or how did they know? How did he know? So I always try to just tap into that when I talk about suicide prevention hotline, because I lost some friends. Like I always say, I lost some friends. I lost some good people to it. And so I don't want to lose anyone else, because everyone in the community matters to me. All right. Then I just want to mention at the beginning of the show, right, like I always do, and I'll do it and I'll do it again at the end. We can pray for you. How can we pray for you? I have now put together some information for you to just write down. Writers at Embrace It Community Podcast at gmail.com. Leave us an anonymous prayer request or by texting the chaplain prayer line at 214-295-5628. That's 214-295-5628. That is the chaplain's prayer line. Okay. I'm concerned about you mentally, spiritually as well. All right. So you make sure you write that number down. I'll put it back up at the end of the show again, so that you can just give us your needs. Like I said, you can do it anonymously. By all means, do it anonymously. All right. Then also buy me a coffee. How can you help this here wonderful, outstanding show that I love to do? I love to get on here to this QR code. Go ahead, catch it with your cameras, and I'm gonna leave it up for a minute. I want you all to catch that with your camera and buy me a coffee. And it's a nice little way to help the Embrace It Community Podcast do what it do, to keep us out here going. Besides following us, you can buy us a coffee and support the cause, support it. $2, $1 coffee. There's numbers that's going to pop up on there: $25, $30. You don't have to do that much. You can just $2. Just do $2. $2. I'm not even asking for $20. Just do $2. Okay. Support. Help us out, please, if you can. I don't never want to seem like I'm that one that's coming on here. Oh, here's Cash App, send me stuff. No, I'm not doing that. I want you to support the Embrace the Community Podcast by other ways than that. So buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee. Also, what I'm doing for the veterans is the 30-mile dog walk challenge. I get my Bella out and we go for a walk, and she's just relaxing right now because it's too hot. And the whole cause is to stop soldiers' suicide. So whenever I see something like this that come across my page where it's a cause for suicide prevention, veterans, I'm a veteran, I'm going to promote it. I'm going to get out there whether I'm walking, whether I'm riding my bike. I cannot run anymore. I wish I can. I tried running the other day and I did one of those 10-second burst runs and I felt good. But when I sat down 20 minutes later, my knees were achy. So I can't do like I used to do. My mind's telling me yes, but my body's telling me no, you not. All right. So keep that in mind. It's the 30-mile dog walk challenge. Okay. So I wanted to put that out there again, and I'll put it back up there at the end of the show again. Let's see. I think I got everything covered there that I normally cover at the beginning. So listen, here we go. This topic today, it's a very sensitive topic. It is a topic that has impacted my life personally. Suicide prevention has impacted my life, but also domestic violence. And I have a co host that's going to come on that I'm about to bring on that is going to reveal some things and talk about some things that a lot of people are afraid to talk about, don't know how to talk about, or don't know who to talk to about it, or they're that scarred mentally that they hold it in and it doesn't come out right when they do decide to talk, whether they decide to enter into a relationship later or just at work. The outbursts, the mental impact that it does on your daily life activities, it happens that way. So I want you to welcome my co-host Denise Wolford, who is going to come on now. Do I need to bring her on here? Yeah, let me grab her from the back. She's sitting here waiting, and let me see if I can just get her to come on now. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome Denise. Please, thank you so much, Denise, for taking
Oh, no, thank you
your
for having
time.
me.
Oh, I appreciate you so much for taking out your time to come in. Say hello to the followers here at Embrace the Community Podcast.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be shared, and I'm just grateful that you had me on
Yes.
to talk about domestic violence because, of course, we know that is a sensitive subject, but someone has to do it. And guess what? I don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
It's a privilege, it's an honor. So thank you all, and thank you for bringing me on as well.
Oh, thank you so much for taking out your time to join me. And we're going to dive in it, but I got a friend of mine in the Dominican Republic to record her story. So let's play that and then we'll
Okay.
go from there. Okay. Let me go ahead and get that going. And Andrea, you can make that screen bigger and just go ahead and play that. She did a really good interview. Her name is Yocasta, and she'll talk to us all about her experience. All right. Let's just listen to her if we can.
Everybody. My name is Casta Carvajal, and I'm here today to share my history, not as a victim, but as a survivor. For many years, I lived in what I thought was love, but was actually a carefully constructed cage. It didn't start with violence. It started with small things, comments about my friends, suggestions about what I should wear, and requests to know where I was going. The disqualification, what felt like caring, was actually control taking root. The emotional abuse came first. The constant criticism, the isolation from family and friends, the way he made me question my own memory and judgment. By the time the physical violence began, it was already so worn down that I almost believed I deserved it. But I want to be clear about something. No one deserves abuse ever for nothing they say, did, or didn't do. The shame belongs to the abuser, not to the survivor, okay? My turning point came when I saw my reflection in my daughter's eye. She was starting to flinch when voices were raised. I realized that staying wasn't just hurting me, it was teaching her that this was normal, that this was love. That's when I knew I had to find the courage to live. Living wasn't easy. It took planning, support, and multiple attempts. But with the help of domestic violence shelter, counselors, family, and friends who never give up on me, I built a new life. A life where I make my own decisions, where my voice matters, where peace is possible. If you're listening and you recognize yourself in my history, please know that you are not alone. There is help available. There is hope. You deserve love that lifts you up, not tears you down. You deserve peace. You deserve a life free from fear. And to those who love someone in an abused relationship, don't give up on them. Help. Keep the door open. It's very important. When they're ready, be there to help walk through it. Recovering is a journey, not a destination. Some days it's going to be harder than others, but every day I choose healing is a victory. Every day I choose to speak out is an step toward helping someone else find their way to the freedom. Thank you for listening, and remember, you are stronger than you know.
Yeah, I wanted to thank Yokasta for sending that out to me. I gave her the task to do it and I asked her, would she mind to do it? She said, of course, I would love to do it. So she's all the way in Dominican Republic. And she just told her story about it. And, this is something I never knew. We just don't know. So she chose to speak up. So Denise, help us out.
Wow. I loved everything she said. I mean, it is all on point for as, you know, him trying to steal her identity when it comes to knowing yourself being. Let me just bag up to myself. I'm Denise Wolford, 29 years survivor of domestic violence. So if anyone knows what it looks like or what it feels like, I know now, but I didn't know it at the time. So listening to her it's the same cycle. It's just different people that is being embarked up on, but you have a voice and you can make a difference. You can make that change, and applaud her for
Yeah.
seeing it not too late, because there's so many people that just stay in it because they feel like they're trapped. But that's why my name came from. All Women March for Hope. We say all women, but I counsel men, children, teenagers. I counsel them all. It's just the name came from All Women Marching for Hope because it's more women going through it than men. So when you talk about domestic violence, what do it look like? It looked like what she just said. Controlling. I don't want anyone controlling me. You have a mind. You are a person, and your voice does matter. But when someone tried to take your voice, it leaves you hopeless. So that's where the name Hope came from, because there's hope there. My hope came because I was just a strong-minded person as an individual, and I can't put everybody on my level. But what I can say is, if you want help, there is help on the horizon. There is help right around the corner. There's help at your fingertips, because everybody has social media. Everybody know how to get online now. And everything that we have right now, we didn't have back then when I was going through it. So it's pretty much having to go through it, not knowing what it was until I came out. And boy, when I tell you, when I came out of it, I've been a pit bull ever since.
Wow.
My organization came together in 2007. We went to Austin, Texas, on the back step of the Capitol, and we just ripped it. We just let it go. And it was so powerful that even the we call them the marshals, but the guys that was standing around,
Yes.
I call them the troopers, even they were crying. So we
Wow.
knew we had hit home when we started talking about how men need to man up and women need to, learn their place when it comes to talking, because you can sometimes talk too much, ladies, and that talking can provoke them to do things. But I always say, men, it never should come to a point where you put your hands on another person. Hands is one thing, but guess what? There's another part of domestic violence, and it's verbal.
Okay.
That's the worst one. The worst one. And the reason why I say that, because words hurt.
Right.
We
Right.
do the list of the list of domestic violence, and what do it look like in your relationship? Well, a lot of times you think, well, it ain't happening to me. It's not me that's going through it. And so you start talking, and she said it again. He likes to put you in isolation, so you can't hear. So your friends can't tell something's wrong with you. This is not the same Denise that I know. She don't even come around. And again, she mentioned everything she said was pretty much me.
Wow.
You trying to tell me what to wear and say, I'm the type, you can't tell me that. As long as I'm covering up. I've never been the type of woman to expose anything anyway. But don't tell me to wear a shirt and buckle it up to my neck like that. No, player, I know how to dress.
Well, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready.
That too.
I'm going to ask. So let's say the gentleman says to you, well, the man in your life, your husband, however, well, baby, I like seeing you in this. It's a different way of saying it, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it depends on what it is. If it's a lingerie you're talking about, hey, I'll get with you on that.
Right.
Before it's your overall how you're dressing. No, I don't want you with those pair of shoes on. No, I don't want that type of dress on. No, I don't want that type of shirt. That's controlling. And when you find yourself being lost in his spider web, there's time to back up and say, whoa, who am I? Yeah. I'm losing myself in him. And that should never be, because when you're in a relationship, it should fit just like this. A hand in a glove. See how that fits?
Yeah.
It shouldn't fit like this, because if you're fitting it like that, that ain't working. This will work.
That's good.
And then once you do that, you'll learn how to pray. You'll learn how to do a lot of things when it's like this. When it's like that, that is a broken relationship. And I say it all the time when we talk about LOVE. Okay, love is one thing. LOVE. LUST will kill you.
Yes.
There's a difference between love and lust.
Yes.
Lust will fall up on the flesh, and then you start doing all these fleshy things and accepting what he say about you. Well, I can't do that. I'm gonna bag it up to my relationship and how it started in the 9th grade. I didn't know what that was. I just knew this little fella hit me. This little fella gonna get hit back. Didn't realize over the years, found out that he came from a domestic situation.
Wow.
His home, wherever you nest at, that's what you're gonna pretty much think it's okay. But it wasn't okay for me, because I never saw that in my home. I saw it in my family members, but I didn't see it in my home. So all I knew was, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. The second abuser, I never called their name, because anybody that knows me should know who I'm talking about. And I don't ever want to call them out, because 1, 2, and 3, you know who you are. You know what you did, and you know. So number 2 was 9th grade, leave him alone, going to school. I want to focus more on school. So I ended up dating this guy that was 4 years older than I was. Okay. Had 2 children, thinking everything's okay. We got an apartment doing this, but I missed one thing. He didn't love me. He loved himself. So that was another type of violence that was going on. And I wasn't going to tolerate it. And I ended up leaving that relationship and went into another one. And that number 3 was almost like strike 3, almost killed me. Literally. And I'm talking about from the romance part. He was a very nice guy, don't get me wrong. But he had a lot of things, hidden genders, that I couldn't figure out to this day. Why were you so violent towards me? Why was I the one catching the back end of this relationship? And I don't even know where it even came from. And when I got out of it, I figured it out. Because he couldn't love himself. Let me share something, listeners that's out there listening. If you can't love yourself, you cannot love anyone else. I don't care how fine he is. I don't care if he's a millionaire. And I know a lot of millionaire friends right now that's going through hell and high water because they don't know how to get out. They know how to get out of the relationship, but they want to live that lifestyle. I told Andrea earlier, I would rather be a a live chicken than a dead duck.
Wow.
So many hurting, toxic relationship people just put up with because they don't want to hear the truth. Well, then don't ask. Stay in it because it's not going to change.
Okay.
You have to make that change. You have to know, get around someone that knows more than what you know when it comes to healthy relationship. I can tell you what a healthy relationship looks like. You're looking at it. Hold on, get this together. Hold on, you're looking at it.
Yeah. Well, wait, Denise, you said something. And now it brought me back to when I was a kid. You said the person that started putting his hands on you, I think it was in 9th grade, that's because the way he grew up in his house. Now, when I was that kid, 7, 8 years old, I had to be, I can't even recall. I know I was so young. I watched my father beat my mother. He got drunk. I guess my mother had a mouth, and he took her head and he put it in the toilet. And I watched them do it. And my sister and I, we tried to leave the house to go get my grandmother to get help, but her brother was sitting at the door, would not let us out. My mother's brother. Well, come to find out, they had 2 different fathers. So they already bumping heads. So my mother's brother was on my father's side. They both drank. They were drinking buddies and they hung out. He would not let us run out to go get help. And we had to sit there and hear my mother screaming as he was doing what he did to her. So when you said, because this young man saw this environment, this is who he became, I would have to say, for me, I became the opposite. Because I guess my grandmother's love, my grandmother's prayers, her spirit was imparted in me to know right from wrong. And I never in my life put my hands on a woman. And when I saw someone doing it, I went up to that guy and was like, yo, my man, do me a favor, let her alone. Don't touch her. I've seen it. I walked up to people in the street and it's like, oh man, she did it. I said, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do it because that scarred me. That was my mother. It scarred me. So if I seen it, I handled it, you know.
Yeah. So you have to get involved.
Yeah. Get involved. Everybody doesn't turn out as a product of their environment. Thank God. The drinking, the smoking, the domestic violence. I chose a different path, and I chose the path.
You said it. You just said it. It's a choice.
It's a choice, right?
Just because they did that, don't mean you have to mimic that.
Right.
Because you can be I've always said to myself, I'm going to be the best grandmother that I never had. My mother passed away when she was like 6 years old. I never had a relationship on the grandmother's side on my dad's side. So I didn't really have that grandmother feel. Okay. So I said, if I ever had any grandchildren, I was going to be the best grandmother that I never had. And my grandchildren will tell you to this day, that's the best grandmother. Yeah, she done took us to Cancun and everywhere. You know why? Because I want to leave that mark that I am and I can be different from what I didn't have. So you're so right. You don't have to choose that pattern just because you saw that. Right. But because you did choose it, you're going to end up by yourself because women do get tired. You know, we've been in 29 markets, 14 states, and 2 countries, and it's been the same pattern in every one of them. Yeah. So domestic violence is domestic violence. I don't care if you're here in Tokyo, doesn't matter.
Right. So
it hurts because love doesn't hurt.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Now that we talked about the women, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to talk about there are some men.
I get those all the time. I love those. That was going to be part 2. So part 2, when men, when I start talking, and I was telling you earlier about going to Chicago and one of those re-entry homes, and I came in, I was all dressed up and looking pretty, and you know, and they really thought I was going to be one of the little pretty black girls that just came in and did her number and left. But I didn't come in there for that. I dressed up like I was. But when I was done with them, those men was crying like babies because they felt the love that I had for them to say, I know you are probably a product of it, or you want to be different. You don't want to be that monster anymore. Or you was the one that was being abused. And I have those letters to this day of what those men were going through at that time. So men, that 15%, maybe higher now, that men go through the same exact thing, but they're afraid to call 911 because 9 times out of 10, if he come, they're not going to take him. They don't want to take his side. We don't think, oh, you're not the one getting beat up on. But I know a lot of women that's got some, I'm talking about bad mouth, provoke these men.
Yep.
And what are these men supposed to do? If you provoke me, I'm sorry, you're going to get that wig split. And I'm not going to try to split it on a, you got to defend yourself. Now, not doing it because I am bigger. The men is bigger. They will hurt you, women. They will tear you in two pieces. But what you don't want to do is buck up against them. If you find yourself being angry, you walk away. He don't want to put his hands on you. I know a lot of good men out there that's been torn down by women. And these women need the same treatment that the men need when they're being abused. It's just the same. It's just the opposite. So I counsel with them. They say, oh, Mr. Denise, thank you so much. And they call me to this day. You have to encourage them and let them know, no, you have rights just like they do.
Yeah.
You do. And you don't have to put up with it. No, you don't. You don't. You do not. There's help. As a matter of fact, there's a men's shelter that they either putting back together at the family place here in Dallas.
Okay.
That reaches out to men. And they go there to get away from abuse.
Yeah.
Women. So yes.
Yeah. And I asked that question because I experienced it myself, where I found myself in a relationship. And like you said, I'm not going to mention no names, but I moved here in 2020. I was in a relationship, got married to the person. I thought I knew her from New York. We both grew up in New York. And I found out that there was something definitely wrong because she did not allow me to go anywhere without her knowing my location. That was one.
Ooh,
And
that's
when she had my location and I'm at work and I'm sitting there, I'm trying to get started with this new job. She called me and I'll never forget it. She said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at work." She says, "No, you're not. It's not showing that you're at work. It's showing that you're da-da-da address." And I said, "Woman," I said, "we will talk about this when I get home." Because she didn't allow me to talk and she just wanted to talk. And now what she was doing was throwing my past up, the part of me that was transparent to her about my past. Well, this is why this happened to you. And this is why this, and this is why that one's not with you. And this not with you. And I said, "I'm done." I don't know what that did was when I said, "I'm done talking," it triggered her because she began to breaking up my things. I'm talking about my laptop, my work laptop, cutting the cords to my TV, everything to get me
to
that point. You mess with a black man's TV, what happens? But anyway, so I sat there and I said, "What in the world is going on?" And I called 911. They came out. And of course, they didn't do anything because this was domestic. This was civil. She didn't put her hands on me. But long story short, I've dealt with that for as long as I possibly can. It may have lasted 6 months, but within the 6 months' time, she called the police on me 12 times with false accusations. He hit me, he touched me, he pushed me. Look at this, look at that. And me pushing was trying to get her off of me from attacking me. And so now she has a reason to call. "Oh, you pushed me. I'm calling the police."
Oh, wow.
And so when they came to the house, I was so angry, but I remained calm.
Mm-hmm.
And one officer said to me while I was sitting in the room, I just said to him, "Sir, I'm tired." He says, "I know you are." He says, "I looked at the records." I said, "We've been out here 12 times.
Oh, wow.
And my sergeant's getting to the point where he's saying, the next time we get a call out there, you're going to take the one that's being aggressive." He said, "If I were you, I would leave. Don't look back, leave." And I had to leave.
Yeah, because do you know how many times they have to go out to those calls? I said I've always wanted to play this strike three kind of thing because it becomes a point where you've got to take the initiative to say, you know what, when are you tired? When are you ready to get off this hamster wheel? Because it's not going to change.
That's what it is, exactly. We call it the honeymoon wheel in law enforcement, but it's a hamster wheel.
The hamster wheel. Yeah, when are you tired? Evidently, you like what you've been put up on because, like I said, I know what healthy relationship looks like now. And knowing what it looks like now versus to what it was, there's no comparison. Love doesn't hurt. Love do not hurt. And there's so many components that goes into domestic violence to where you're put up with this, but you won't put up with that. You got financial abuse. You have verbal abuse. You have mental abuse. You have spiritual abuse. There's so many abuse that falls underneath that, and you're not healthy. You know why? Because you don't know who you are.
Right, right. But Denise, the part that now comes back up to me, and I'm glad we did the warning in the beginning, because I'm gonna be real. This woman told the police on my last encounter with her that I touched her and she did not want to be touched. She said I touched her on her vagina and she did not want to be touched there. And they were going to charge me with sexual domestic violence.
Now, can I ask you a question? Where did she come from? Who hurt her? Because it didn't just start with you.
I found out she was molested all the way up to the age of 12.
I know it. I was getting ready to ask that question because I say it all the time. Hurt people hurt.
Right.
People.
Yep.
And until you deal with that hurt, whatever that hurt may be, you drag that on the baggage along with you everywhere you go. When are you going to cut that a biblical card?
Right. But why would you do that after having sex? And then you're going to go and tell the police because you got angry at me that he touched me and I didn't want to be touched. She did not know how serious that was. There was something missing up there. When she realized what she did, she went to the police station and says, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to press charges. And I'm sitting back saying to myself, you fool, because a prosecutor could have said, no, she's scared. He's probably got her this way. Lock his behind up. This is how bad it was. But for the grace of God that protected me from all of that, I just so happened to have a detective that was investigating this whole thing. And he was able to ask the important questions over and over that trapped her up, where she kept changing her story about how it happened. And he ended his report saying, I realized that this was not domestic violence. This was another thing going on that she had. And she knew that if she would have kept saying what she was saying, that this would have gotten her in trouble. I read the police report and I have no reason to lie. But when I left that house, I was so angry because I invested in that house. I put money in that house. I added on to that house. I bought furniture in that house. And I had to leave that to go to an apartment that was 700 square feet, maybe. And I'm crying. I'm like, Lord, I can't leave. Why did I have to leave? And I left all of this stuff behind. And look at this place. I don't even have enough room to do anything like that. And God said one thing to me. He said this, but you're not in jail. And I said, yeah, you're right, Lord. I'm good. Let me go ahead and paint this wall. Let me go ahead and add this piece for it. But I'm just what I'm saying. How many men that experience domestic violence that don't know how to walk away? Yeah.
They need to hear stories like yours. Women need to hear stories like mine. When I left my abuser, with 2 children, 1 unemployment check, which was $325, and it was the last one. And when I stepped out on faith, I said, God, if this is what you want me to do right now, you open up that door for me. And he opened up that door 1996, July. What are we at right now? We are August the 10th, 2025. Yeah. 29 years later, baby, I'm still stepping high. And ain't nothing nobody can do to stop when you do it God's way. I said, Lord, it's the time for me to step there because I'm about to kill him. I'm going to kill him because I don't understand this pattern. But I had 2 children. I said, no. I'm not going to jail. I'm going to raise my 2 kids. So I left, and it's not about a financial thing because he never had that over me. It wasn't about, can you take care of yourself? No, because I had my own place when we met, and it wasn't about nothing. I don't know. I just knew I felt kind of sorry for him, for one. But it came to a point where I can't help him. You know why? Because he didn't want the help. Right. You cannot help someone that don't want the help. Yeah. Yeah. You got to look within yourself. So God said, I'm just going to start pruning you. I'm going to make you my mouthpiece. I'm going to use you for my glory. And you're going to tell this story because it ain't about you. Because every time I hear of a domestic violence situation and how they were killed, I saw myself. Right. I saw him. Because there was many of times, he's from New Orleans. And there was many of times that I felt after looking back at it now, what am I doing out at Lake Pontchartrain at 10 o'clock at night? We're going fishing. No, we're not. I don't even like fishing. That was a setup.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, and God showed me, because he know I'm afraid of rats. Don't fool with me, no rat, no mouse, no roaches. I don't like none of that. And there was the moonlight was out that night. And he said, look down. And when I looked down, I saw a rat this big. And I took off running back to the car. He kept saying, come on, little scary girl. I said, I'm going back to the car.
Wow.
And then it happened again here at this lake over here off of
Joe Pool Lake. Was it Joe Pool?
No, off of Harry Hines.
Oh, okay. I don't know that.
It'll come to me when I'm not thinking about it. But it happened again around the same time, 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
God said, go back to the car. Go back to the car. And he said, if I want to kill you, I could. I said, but you can't. You don't see this shield over me.
Right.
I'm covered. You
Yeah.
can't touch me. You tried it. Oh, we gonna put voodoo on you. You can't touch that either.
No, that stuff don't work. Yeah.
So we have to understand
Wow.
the cycle of unhealthy relationships. Who do you want in your corner to cheer you on, to say you can do this? Right. You don't have to go through that toxic relationship. You don't have to have friends or a boyfriend in your ear or a girlfriend. We were talking earlier about these young girls and how they're dealing with this teen violence right now. I wouldn't want to be. It is so heartbreaking to see how these young girls are putting up with these young men that I'm calling boys, because you're not a man.
That's
you
true.
are a boy trying to find yourself, but then you're damaging these young girls, and young girls are damaging these young boys, because it's the same.
It's the same.
It's just so. I've never seen it like this in 50 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Me either. It's bad, and I'm afraid for the generation that we talk about. And what can we do? You and I have to continue being that voice.
Yes.
And teaching and trying to educate people to look for the signs and know what to do, because we don't know.
What are the signs?
What are the signs? Oh,
what are the signs?
What are the signs? Like what I experienced, I'm gonna give you from my experience. They called it, when I was in law enforcement academy, they called it the honeymoon wheel, where the man would either put his hands on the woman and hurt her, then come back later and say, baby, I'm sorry, here's some flowers. Oh, I'm sorry, let me take you out to dinner. Let me buy you this ring. And so that's part of the signs. But what I experienced in my domestic violence was, after I left, she started calling me up and inviting me over for sex and food, because she knew that was my weakness. Where she cooked great. I mean, I was like, and then offered me more sex. But because of what I knew, I was like, no, I'm good. So it's always that I'm sorry after. I'm sorry. Let me buy you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Let me buy this. Let me get you this. Can we talk? I'm going to church. I'm praying. I'm going to church. I'll go to church with you. Forgive me. Am I right? Help me out. Am I right?
And some of them.
Okay.
But again, they come in so many different forms. They start out one way. I mean, they're so nice. They're so sweet, and they charming. They don't show that side until you actually in the thick of it. And then when you're in the thick of it, you're like, well, that's not the person that I met. Something's changing. And that's when the controlling comes. It starts little, and then it starts to escalate. It starts to build. And it builds, and you're like, oh my God, I'm already in it. And this is one thing that I tell the people that I counsel with. I said, remember one thing. You are a body, but there's a spirit inside of you. And when you connect that spirit with that man, that's one reason why I tell young ladies and young men, why are you so cuckoo on Cocoa Puff? I said, did you have sex with them?
Yeah.
And they say, yes. I said, well, you just bonded with them.
That's right.
The spirits came like this. So that's why it's not so easy for you to walk away from him, because your spirit man is calling. Your body's saying one thing, but your spirit man is saying, I don't really want this, but yeah, I do want it. Now you've connected with the spirit man, and that's why it's hard for you to leave him. Or
so that's when the women be saying, but I love him. I love him.
Yeah. But if you never had sex with them, it's easy for you to walk away, because you haven't bonded with them.
Wow.
When you bond that, it's like, oh my God, that's in word. That's word. He said, you see, with the prostitute, you just became who she is.
Right. That's
So
right.
women, be careful. That's what I said. Don't give up your goods. That's not your husband. Why are you over there messing with something that God said this is for married people only anyway? So
Right.
that will not start a relationship until you are ready to really get down with him. Why are we talking about unhealthy relationship? Because we're allowed to put the carriage in front of the horse. Keep the horses what's going to drive the carriage, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I totally agree. I can't believe how much time has gone by already. So I'd said 30 minutes and we're going on to 40, but help me out here. Let's get some closing comments for survivors. And I'll just say that safety first. What do they do? Safety first.
Well, if you're in a domestic violence situation, you put together a safety plan, which is on the internet. You can type in safety plan for domestic violence to get away.
Oh
And
wow.
what you do is you put that plan together and you give it to someone that you know, a close friend or a close relative, because when you're ready to leave, you want to make sure you have all those important documents. Because
Okay.
sometimes you can take those documents and tear them up, and then you don't have that. But have a second set. Put your safety plan together and give it to someone. A bag of clothes, if it's your children, make sure you have. I just say put a duffel bag together and put all your personal stuff in there. Google it; it'll tell you exactly the items that you need to put in your
Oh
safety
wow.
plan kit.
I didn't know that. That's good to know. That's
Yes,
the safety plan. Okay. You're
and then
not
talk to someone. Let them know, hey, I'm
let
getting
me
ready
know.
to move. Because when you let someone know what's going on, and if something happened in between that time, you at least, well, they talked to me. They said they was ready to leave. They said that, and it didn't happen, or he or she got killed in the process of it. Because that's the most crucial time. It's when you're leaving,
Gotcha. Gotcha. Wow.
and you got to leave with sometime when they don't even know they're at work or whatever. You got to sneak away.
Yeah. That's what my counselor told me. He said, leave. I don't care if you leave your best pair of shoes, leave.
Yeah,
Leave. And I didn't understand what he meant by that. He broke it down to me. He
yeah.
says, you got to get out of there. You got to go now. And I
And please talk. Please tell someone.
tell somebody.
Don't hold that in, because all that does is like cancer. It eats you up. And
Yeah.
then it starts making you feel like, am I worthy?
Right. Right.
Am I
Right.
worthy of being loved again? Am I worthy to even be in a relationship with anyone? And you start beating up on yourself. Take those boxing gloves off. Ladies and men, take them off, because you are worthy. If God woke you up this morning,
Right.
that means there's a place and a purpose in place for you. And it's not to be, I'll say, in a toxic relationship to the point where you don't even can't serve God no more.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. You're right. You are absolutely right. But
And I can honestly say this: when I was going through mines, my ex didn't like the church. I was there for 17 years, and he didn't like that church. But one thing he couldn't do, he didn't realize that building wasn't the church for me. I was the church. And I found myself every day getting this 15-minute, it was a sermon that used to come on KGGR. I can't think of the pastor name right now. I finally met him and told him, he said, he was running revival all that week. He said, what you just told me just now was best than any subject that I had on this revival this week. And I told him, I said, it was your 15-minute sermon that kept me on track while I was going through that dark period of my domestic violence. Because you couldn't take the church from me, because it was in me, and I still was giving God praise. I was still giving God what I had to give him, even though I didn't have a church home, because of, you ain't going to church. Oh, and it was so stupid. I don't even want you shaking the deacon's hands. I don't even want you shaking the pastor's hands. Really?
wow. Like
Oh, it
that?
was deep. It was deep. And I'm like, no, that's not. And I told him, I said, you know what? You trusting the wrong person. You need to be trusting me. Why are you trying to trust them? And them don't even know you. I know you.
Ooh.
And all three of them has apologized to this day. They said
Yeah.
they were sorry.
Yeah. And I got the apology as well. I mean, I got the heartfelt tears. One day I met her out, we met somewhere and she cried. She really cried. And I forgave her. She begged me to come back. She begged me to come back. And I said, no, let's get some counseling first. I used that to say, because I didn't want to say, hell no, to the no, no, no.
No.
So I just said, let's get some counseling, and we kind of went our separate ways from there. But Denise, listen, I want to thank you again for coming on tonight.
Oh, my.
and talking and being transparent and allowing me to be transparent and letting men and women know that there is help. So how can they reach you? Let everybody know.
Well, I have a website, allwomenmarchingforhope.com, or you can reach me by telephone, 817-228-1323. Again, 817-228-1323. And if I don't answer, just leave a message. I will return phone calls. Yes, I am busy, but I'm never too busy to help share and put light in when it comes to domestic violence. And we don't do it just in the month of October. People are hurting every day. So if you know someone that's going through or just need a word of encouragement, reach out to us on either email on our website, or you can call me 817-228-1323. We're here for you.
Well, good deal. Denise, I can't thank you enough for sharing. Don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back, but there's some important information I want to put up on the screen for everybody.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank everybody for joining in, watching tonight. And I got to say, I don't care if I only got 2 people watching. If I can touch somebody's life,
that's it.
That's all that matters to me. So, but thank you, Denise, for joining in, watching. And like I said, don't go nowhere. I got more we're going to talk about later. All right. So Thank you again. Thanks. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to leave some information up here for you to just take a look at, and I'm going to leave it up for a few minutes. And I hope something was said tonight that has touched you, or maybe you can share with somebody. And it may not be you, it might be somebody you know, someone that has experienced this. But if it is you, I want you to know that there is help. You do have a voice, and it's okay to talk about it as well. So we're going to have the National Domestic Violence Line show up, my contact information as well if you want prayer. But I hope this helped. All right. Next week, we're going to talk about this again. This is another part 2 to this conversation. So if you liked it, let us know. Email us. You can email us. Follow us. Send us a message. Send us something in the chat. If you are watching, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next week, like I said, follow. I need you guys to follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook as well. TikTok, I'm on there as well. And so thank you for joining in, but I'm going to leave this information up for a while, and it's going to give you some really good contact information. Write it down, all right? But until next week, I love you. That's only because I love myself. Let's talk about it.
Thank you for listening to Embrace It, the Community Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Follow the Community Podcast page on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Please like and share the podcast with your community circle.